All right. So, like I was saying, today we're going to be talking about creating conscious abundance. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I feel like one of the big lessons that this year has been bringing to the collective is to really expand abundance and what we believe abundance is, how we perceive abundance, how we receive abundance. And I think that a lot of this year was really preparing us for the abundance that we're meant to receive. And that's why the first half of this year and even a lot of last year, there was just so much shedding that was happening and so much releasing because it was almost like a collective, universal spring cleaning, where it was like clean out everything, anything, anyone, any place, any person, anything that's just not in alignment with the next level of where you are going. So there just had to be this like clear, 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 clear. And also, a lot of us have always it translated abundance into just money. And this year has really been trying to teach us that abundance goes beyond money and that the universe is not limited by money. Obviously, we need money, right? We live in a world where currently um, the way that we survive is that we need money. Prior to that, people used to trade things, right? But the reason why I'm saying even that is because the universe knows how to provide for you and how to give you the things that you want and that you desire, regardless of money. Money is just one of the many sources that the universe can provide you with the things that you desire, but it is not limited to that as your source because the reality is like if you think about cash, cash is like yes, it's this physical thing, but even then it's become very digital now. So it's almost like kind of this like digital currency in a way. Obviously, we also have things like Bitcoin and stuff like that. So if you think about it, it's like money and its evolution. It's like we've traded, we used to trade things, and then it turned into paper, and then now it's turning into this like digital thing. So it's always evolving. So if the universe was attached to cash in the way that we are, then it would struggle. There would almost be this like malfunction of like, oh no, like how do I provide for you now that money's become so digital, that money's now a plastic card, that money's now, you just tap things and you pay. And there's no physical exchange. And so the same way that those transactions can happen so seamlessly and so detached from the physical, that's like the realm that I want to pull you into today is this realm of possibility where you understand that the universe is not limited to the dollar bills that are sitting in your bank account. Because when you detach from it, the other thing that happens is that you create space for more of it to come in. Why? Because now you're not saying, okay, universe, you have to work based on this number, this bank account, this specific source that I have that brings money in. When you limit the universe to that, you really put it in a box, right? Because now you're saying you can only bless me through this. And the universe is like, but I'm so much bigger than that. Like, can you trust me to bless you in a lot of other ways and to show you that abundance is not limited to just one thing? And that even when you desire physical manifestations, homes, cars, whatever it might be, that you can even receive that outside of money. But that's really getting into a whole other realm, right? And that's something that is possible. And so this year I've seen so much of this, and I'll give you guys some examples of how I have seen this show up and like for me. So this year for me has been a lot about like saving money because there's certain goals I want to achieve and like investments that I want to make. And so I've been very like strict with my money. And it's been hard, right? Because, like, for example, around my birthday, I was like, oh, I really want to go shopping, but I don't want to spend money. Like, and I just kind of had this desire where I was like, I want to go shopping, but I don't want to spend the money and blah, blah, blah. And so out of the blue, my mom gets into crazy like shopping phase and takes me with her and is just like buying me all this stuff. So like my mom basically took me on a shopping spree. And I received this desire that I had without me having to exchange money. And that has shown up for me in so many ways this year where the universe has just it's been this constant, like, let me show you that I can give you what you want without you spending the money. Same thing happened, and I've just been having so many of these lessons this year. Same thing happened yesterday where I was craving this specific thing for lunch. And I was like, I'm not gonna go get it. There's food. Hay comida en la casa, like go eat at home. Like don't spend money just because you're craving this thing. So I didn't. I came home and I ate my lunch here and then came in, did my client sessions that I had for the day and then went out to the kitchen when I was done. And what I was craving was sitting there. My parents had gotten it for dinner. And again, like no exchange of cash, right? But if I was limited in my thinking to, oh my gosh, the only way I can go on a shopping spree is if I spend my money. The only way I can receive this meal that I'm craving is if I spend my money, then I would put the universe in a box and I would not allow the universe to bless me in receiving that thing. Because then I'm saying the only channel can be me. The only way for me to receive this, it has to be my money, my bank account, my transaction. I have to pay for it. I have to work for it. Otherwise, I cannot receive it. And the universe is like, okay, but like your mom's right here trying to take you shopping. Your parents are over here trying to like buy that for dinner. But if you don't want to, then, but you also don't want to be the channel either. And so what happens is those actually become blocks to our receiving. And so what I want to work through today is like opening up the channels that can exist for you to receive abundance. I want us to look and see, where am I creating blocks for me to receive the things that the universe wants to give me? And I'm thinking of like all these examples and I'm like, okay, how many do I want to share with you guys? Because I have so many that have just happened like these last couple of months, and some of them have come in as manifestations of money. Same thing for I did a family birthday trip and I think I didn't end up spending anything because everyone just wanted, people would be like, oh, let me pay for your dinner. It's your birthday. Let me pay for this. Let me pay for that. I didn't spend anything for that birthday trip, and I was like, I want to travel. I want to go on trips, but I don't want to spend the money. And I got blessed with it, So there's ways, there's more than one way for the universe to bless you. And that's what I really want you guys to understand is that yes, we can and we will. And we'll focus it on money today because I did feel called to speak about creating conscious cash. But that is just going to be like a method that we're going to use that you can then take and replicate it across your life. Like, okay, if I use this method with cash, abundance. If I use this method with love, abundance. If I use this method with my life, with my family, with whatever it is, abundance. Because when you can tap into that, abundance really is receiving in all ways. Is it really abundance if you have the money but not the health? Is it really abundance if you have the house but not the family? Right? Like, what is actually abundance to you? What does it actually mean aside from just money? Because the only reason we want money is because of the thing that money is going to get us. But a lot of us are thinking, I want this house, I want this car, I want this trip, I want this wardrobe, I want whatever it is. And then we put money in front of it. And then there's us. And then it's like, okay, so here's an obstacle to get to it. Right? Versus like what happens when you detach from that, maybe the house can come in or the car can come in or the the wardrobe or whatever it is, maybe it can come in a different method if the only bridge that you're connecting to it is not, it has to be this. Right. And it can be, I'm not saying it isn't, but what happens when there's more? So that's what I want to talk about, is like really helping you guys to tap into abundance and understanding that abundance is not limited to money. Abundance is not limited to finances. Abundance is also not limited to a person or a group of people or an institution. Abundance is not even limited to like a realm. Like the earth, the world that we exist in, it's a realm. This is just one dimension. And abundance is not, it doesn't even like, it's, this dimension is not the source of abundance. But a lot of us are trying to keep it here. And we're saying, abundance, you're not even from here, you're from another dimension, but you have to only work within the way that we've decided in this dimension, the way that an institution has decided in this dimension, which is very, very limited, because the rules of that game are hustle hard, hustle harder. If you want to make more, you hustle even harder. But when you detach from that and you say, actually, I'm going to tap into the dimension that abundance actually comes from, and I'm going to connect myself to that source, and I'm going to play by those rules, and that's the game that I want to exist in, then that abundance can now come into your life and exist within your reality and play within your realm, but it is not limited to the realm that you live in. So now you take yourself even further. So abundance is not limited. It's not limited, period. So we're going to be diving into what this looks like, specifically some inner work around it, some journaling. But I'm going to pause. Do you guys have any thoughts, any questions so far? Or is everything making sense? Okay. So the way we're going to look at this is, again, from the lens of money. So I want to, since we're business owners, I do want to talk about creating conscious cash. But again, you can take this method and really apply it to anything in life. So what people don't realize about manifesting is that there's two layers, there's two components. The first one is your ability to manifest and to receive, to attract. And that is feminine. The feminine, she sits on her throne. She calls in what she wants and she does not work for it. She doesn't worry about it. She sits there and she receives it. So this is your ability to manifest, attract, and call in what you desire into your life. The second part of manifesting is keeping and growing your manifestation. And that is the masculine, that's the divine masculine, because the divine masculine knows how to, if it's money, knows how to budget, knows how to invest, knows how to grow the finances, knows how to keep it. The feminine attracts and calls in the manifestation. The masculine knows how to keep it and grow it. And some people are good at one or the other, right? There's some people that are really good at calling in, manifesting, bringing in all the things, but then it's gone. It's like the money comes in and then it's out. The manifestation comes in and then it's gone. Or the other way where it's like they just keep it, they hold on to it, but they're afraid. There's like fear. That's like the wounded masculine. I'm scared to invest it. I'm scared to give. I'm scared to receive more. Like I have to just like hold on to it. And when you don't understand how to play with both components, it makes it really hard. And so in order to understand where you are right now with your manifesting abilities and also understanding what could be blocking you, we inevitably have to look at the sources of what painted those pictures for you. So on a subconscious level, your mom, because she was your example of feminine energy, She taught you what it is to attract and to receive. And your father, who was the example of masculine energy for you, taught you what it is to receive, or not receive, to have, to keep, and to grow. So oftentimes there are patterns that we can see when we observe and we say, okay, what did my mom teach me about money? Right? Because we're looking at money. And again, you can use this for anything, but what did my mom teach me about money? And there's always good and bad, right? And then what did my dad teach me about money? What did my mom teach me about getting it, attracting it, receiving? And what did my dad teach me about having, growing, investing, keeping? Because whatever they taught me was then translated into my abilities then too, unless I've done the inner work and have created this on my own, I'm holding on to these narratives and these beliefs of this is what was attracted. So as I'm saying this, I want you to kind of sit with this, and we're going to do some journaling where I want you to take a moment and ask yourself what your mom taught you and what your dad taught you and what the narrative was that was created, and you're going to write it out. So let me write the first part. Let me go into the comment box. Okay. So the first part that you're going to write around is, what did my mom teach me about attracting, receiving, and manifesting money? And then part two is, what did my dad teach me about having, keeping, and growing money? So take some time. You'll kind of write out just like a paragraph, and again, good and bad. Write out whatever good and bad they taught you. So take a few minutes to do that, and then we'll come back in. Then when you're done writing these, what I want you to do is go through it and decide what you want to keep that you learned and what you don't want to keep. So what you don't want to keep, I want you to cross it out. So for example, if it's a negative belief that you're like, this doesn't actually serve me, cross it out. If it's something that you're like, this is a good belief, I want to hold on to it, you can keep it. You can circle it, highlight it, or just leave it. So go through and see what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep. Okay, so who do you guys want to share? Like, how was that? What came up? Anything you feel comfortable sharing? You don't want to go into details, you don't have to. But yeah, anything you guys want to share about that?
I don't know. I'm having actually a hard time finding negative
Mm,
points.
that's good.
And I'm sure there are but overall they were very united with how they felt and how they wanted to teach me and my sister about money.
Good.
Um, my mom, um, even though she always worked hard, she was very confident always and had no problem asking for what she wanted. And she eventually grew in a company that was very all male. And she was like the only woman that was like in a
Wow.
position like um
Mm.
and I mean she's actually retiring on Friday, but she's she's just my mom. It's funny with anything. Like I tell her, like I think she's a really good manifester, whether she
Mm,
realizes it or not.
mhm.
My dad is a bit more, what's the word? Like just serious and not as sometimes he like will roll her eyes. My mom's like, oh, we're gonna be able to do that. And he's just like, no, how? And she's like, watch me. And like that's the dynamic.
Yeah.
But he's very about like, which she is too, though, the saving and investing. And since I was a teenager, they were like, not even as a kid, they had me and my sister open a savings account. And whenever we'd get money for birthdays, it was like, if you want to buy something great, but you're going to put the majority in the bank and save X amount for. So they always instilled the saving. And then as I got older, they talked to us about investing. Maybe any idea, not that they like, I don't know how much they drove it in, but like this whole idea that you have to work really hard to make a lot of money, I would say cross that out. That
Mm,
whole
mm,
like hustle and like to the point that
mhm.
because I'd like to believe it's possible to make a lot and not be exhausted and stressed and working that
Yeah.
whole like 9 to 5.
Mhm. I love that. So it's like overall they gave you a very like positive experience, but the main thing you want to let go of, which is a big thing, is don't not having to work hard for all those things. Yeah.
Which I
I
don't
like
mind. I mean, maybe I need to look. I don't know how bad that is, but
mhm. I mean, I think, and when we're saying bad, we're not saying like they're bad or it's a bad thing. It's more so like, what is not going to serve the life I desire for myself?
yeah, and I think it's that mentality that that's the only way.
Hmm. Yeah, like the only way to be successful or have a lot or get what you want is
Yeah,
to hustle.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's the thing you're like, I'm crossing that out. Okay, I like that. And it's good that they gave you like an overall very good like experience around manifesting, keeping, growing, saving. And especially your mom, that she has that in her of like, I manifest, I do what I want, I make it happen. Like that's a great quality to have. And that's the thing is they also taught us really good things that we can learn and take and continue and carry on. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing. What about for you, Natalie?
So mine was the opposite. Um, my I feel like both my parents have scarcity mindset. Um,
Mm,
but my mom is more like I've learned a lot of like money things from my mom, good and bad. So my mom's like a really good saver. Like my mom's like, you always have to have money because you never know. I think we've talked about it before about like the whole like having a shit ton of cash just in case. And it's like,
yeah.
for what? Um, so I've noticed my mom is very focused around money when it comes to like she'll go to the grocery store and she'll say like, "Oh my God, did you see that at this grocery store it was like 69 cents for a pound of tomatoes, but at this store it was like 49 cents." And she'll like make the longer drive to like
Mm,
go and like save the 20 cents. And um so that, and then with my dad, when you said that the masculine focuses on like keeping and growing money,
mm,
I don't know if it's the correct term to say he's in his wounded masculine where he doesn't know how to keep it, or if he's like in his feminine. I don't know how to express that correctly, but
mhm,
um he's like never has money, like he'll like get money and then uh, like he'll not have it at the end of the week, or by next
mm,
week, or
mm,
things like that. And if he doesn't work, he's a contractor, so he does like remodeling and stuff. And when his season goes down, he's like worried about like not making ends meet, and just things like that. So I crossed off everything on his. And the only thing that I circled for both was the working hard. But same thing with Christina, where I was kind of like, I don't know if that is something that I want to keep, because I don't want to work as hard and like still have money. Like
mhm,
I don't want to be like super tired at the end of the week and just being like, well, at least I have money, because it goes back to what you said, like if you have the money but not the health, is that abundance? So,
mhm,
something like that. But with my mom, I did have like, I circled, she works hard, she knows how to save, and she saves well. Um, and she has like this kind of like ask and you shall receive kind of mentality. So, kind of like manifesting. So, for example, right now, I want to have like some retaining wall built at the front of my house so I could put some plants in the front. And she keeps saying like, just ask. I had a guy come out and give me an estimate, but she's like, just ask him how much it's going to be and then we'll figure it out from there. She's like, it doesn't matter, like we're going to get the money, or like,
mm.
she's like, you're going to make the money. So I like that bit of
Yeah,
hers, but
mhm,
it still scares me.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's okay. Like it's what because the big lesson here is the awareness of it too. Because it's like how often, if ever, have we sat and looked at it and been like, what are the narratives that I am carrying within my family lineage? What are the narratives that are being passed down? What are the narratives that I was raised with? And do I like them? Do I not like them? Because oftentimes we're just raised with it and we don't even know that there could be something different. We all exist within our own world. And you guys have probably experienced this where, for example, like when you live on your own or with your family, you're raised a certain way, you do things a certain way. And then all of a sudden, when you move in with a boyfriend or a husband and they do things differently, and you're just like, oh, you do it like that. And then they're like, wait, you do it like that. And you start to notice these things that are almost like little quirks. And it kind of brings you awareness of like, oh, they grew up differently, or they did things differently. And it's really that idea and that concept of just because I was raised this way, or I was taught these certain things, that doesn't mean I have to keep them. I can if I want to, but it's the power of choice. And it's the power of choosing, what do I want to keep? What don't I want to keep? And what do I want to create for myself that's different? And it starts by becoming aware of what's there. Because I had a similar experience as Natalie. Like when I did this, I was like, cross, 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 and not that my parents were like not good financially, like we grew up like middle class, but there was also a lot of like scarcity. My mom very good at manifesting too. But there was just a lot of things that I was like, that's not how I want to live my life. I just want to do it differently. And not saying it was bad, it was good for them and it was good for us in the way that they wanted to raise their family. But it's really thinking about, how do I want to raise my family? What kind of life do I want to create for myself? Because maybe that's different. The way I see it is, what they did was a building block to what I want to create. My grandmother came from Mexico, immigrated here, raised my dad and his siblings on food stamps. They struggled. She was a single mom. And then my dad was able to build and grow from that into, now we're a middle class family. And now I'm like, okay, how can I build on the foundation my grandma laid, the foundation my dad laid, and then I'm the next layer. So I feel a responsibility to build better and bigger because, and it goes to me, it goes back to my grandma because of what she did. She sacrificed, she did these things, she worked hard, she had to go through certain experiences. I'm not about to take us back there. And I'm also not about to recreate what I already went through. I'm about to build on that. So in order to build on that, that means I have to do things differently. I can't do the same thing and expect that we're going to somehow expand from there. I have to do it differently, right? But it's that awareness of what has come before me so that I can decide what's going to happen from me and after me. What will I create? What will I build? So now that you're seeing, like, what I want to encourage you guys with, and part of the homework I want you to kind of take away, we're going to do some more, I have more I want to get into, but some of the homework I want you guys to take is, I want you to spend some time writing the narrative of like, what do I want my money story to be? Just the money portion of my life. Like, how do I want that story to go? Is it, like if I was at the end of my life and looking back, what's the story that would be there? She invested, she saved, she made this much money, she created generational wealth, she left money for her kids, she left homes and properties, she made investments. Like, what is that story for you? So write what you want your money story to be, instead of like, right now what we're doing is we're writing the story of our parents that maybe they didn't even choose. Maybe they just kind of happened. But the way that we change things is we are intentional about creating it. And it starts by writing your story instead of getting to the end and then being like, oh, wait, now I write my story and it was just kind of, let's see what happens energy. We want it to be intentional. Okay, so what we're gonna do, let me see. I'm just looking at my notes. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this visualization first, and then we'll do the questions. So kind of going back to, if finally got a little whiteboard so I can show you guys. Kind of going back to this concept of not limiting the universe to just one channel for you. And I'm gonna, again, we're talking cash today, specifically money. So we're gonna use that as an example. But let's say you have a goal that is, big. Let's say you have a monthly financial goal of $10,000 per month. Okay. So if this is your monthly financial goal, but you decide that you want to receive it, let's say, for example, this is one of the things I hear often with clients. I can only receive it from my business. And what you're saying, let me actually put this down because I'm going to write. Because the universe exists everywhere, all around. But when you say it can only come in one specific way, so this is the universe all around. But when you're saying it can only come through here, you're saying, I want this, but here's like, remember kind of that straw analogy. Here's like the one channel that you can bring it through. But if you open up your channels of receiving, now all of a sudden, the universe has different methods to bring it to you. And now because of that, it can do it so much faster, so much easier, and more. The universe can even be like, actually, I can exceed that because you're opening up all these sources. You're saying it can be my business, it can be my husband, it can be, I don't know, some side thing that I might have. It can be an investment, it can be anything. Like however you want to bless me, however you want to do it. Because oftentimes when I'm working specifically with business clients, what I hear them say is like, I want to make 10K, but it has to come through my business. And they're struggling to create that number because they're focused on the how. And this is the big shift that we need to make is I want you to focus on the what, not the how. Because when you focus on the how, you take over the universe's role. And the universe is now not able to play that role because you're playing it. And what the universe is saying is, tell me what you want and let me take care of the how. So what's happening is if you're saying right now, I want to make $10,000 per month in my business, but it has to come through my business, or it has to come, I'll use something specific. Like let's say Natalie decides like it has to come through cakes, or let's say Christina says it has to come through like these specific kinds of deals. It has to be through these. Then now you're putting what is this? A limitation, a restriction, a block. Because you're saying I want this and it has to come like this. And the universe is like, okay, well, let me try to fit into your box. And that makes it take longer. That makes it harder. It's like if I was, if Natalie was the universe and I'm her client, and I was like, and I think I used this example with her before. If I was like, I want you to make me a cake, but this is exactly how I want you to make it. It has to be delivered in a pink box with stripes on it, and on this day at this time, and I want you to make it like this. Like if I'm trying to tell her how to do her job, I'm actually restricting her from doing her job really well and probably even better than what I could tell her to do. But if I tell her I want a cake, you handle it, she's probably going to amaze me, right? Because she knows what she's doing. All I have to do is trust her. that she knows what she's doing. Because if I'm working with her and I actually let her play her role, I will get something better, and she'll probably do it faster, better, easier than if I try to interfere with the how. So what we want to do is we want to figure out what are the things that I am limiting my goals, my manifestations with. What are the hows that I've brought into the what's? Because we need to differentiate between what's your what's the thing you want to manifest, and how are you creating this part? Where are you creating a how that's actually blocking you? Because then you can remove it, and you can remove all of the hows so they don't even exist anymore. And then that's how you find yourself in the realm of manifestation and in the expansiveness of the universe, because you're no longer creating these very limited methods that the universe has to deliver things to you. Now it's, here's my what, do your thing. No more blocks, no more restrictions, no more anything holding me back. So we're gonna work through that. So again, we're gonna focus on money today, but you can do anything. You can put anything in here. Whatever you want to manifest, you can use this method. So let's focus on money for today. So I want you to start by first writing down what your biggest monthly financial goal is right now. And if it's scary, good. Even better. It should be scary. Because I wonder what would happen. Like, what if I told Natalie, I want you to make me like the best cake you've ever made? You know, and you get to work your magic. And I'll write these questions in the chat box. What is your biggest monthly financial goal right now? And then, because this is one of the restrictions a lot of us are putting on it, is what is the deadline you're putting on it? Because that's actually a restriction, right? That's like if I were to tell Natalie, I want you to make me a cake and I want it in 20 minutes. I'm probably gonna get a shitty cake, right? Like I'd rather she takes however long and gives me a good cake. And that if anything, she might even make it faster and better than if I was like, you have 20 minutes, right? And then the next one is, what are the channels that you are limiting the universe to give it to you? So are you saying it has to be through these specific offer in my business? It has to, even saying it has to be all through my business? Any hows around it are your limitations. And then the next question is, what will you do when you have that money? Like, how will you feel? And what will change? Because having that manifestation, it should up level you, and you need to identify how. Because remember, the only reason we want money is because of what it's going to do. So you need to tie the what. What is this manifestation going to do for me? Okay, and then from what you wrote there, I want you to notice, actually, first, how are you guys doing? Do you need more time? Or give me a thumbs up if you're good. Okay, okay, perfect. So from what you wrote down, as far as what will change how you'll feel, I want you to notice what things are on there that you can already do now. You know, because I bet there's a lot of things on there that if you look at them, you'll realize I actually don't even need that much money to do that thing now. And the reason behind it is that when you start to do those things now, you actually bring that reality closer to you, right? Because if you're telling the universe, when I have $10,000 a month, I will take mornings off. And the universe is like, okay, message received. And then you start taking mornings off, then the universe is like, oh, wait a minute. She's living in the reality where she's making $10,000. She's taking mornings off. Here's your $10,000. Right. So you bring it to you so much faster. Yes, there's probably things on there where you need the money. You know, let's say you have like go on a luxury vacation, but I can only do that if I make X amount of dollars. But if it's things like that are under your control that you can do, like go for more walks, that costs you $0, right? Or take mornings off or whatever it is, or sign up for a painting class. Go sign up for the painting class. It's not going to cost you $10,000, right? Go start doing the things that you can already do because it's going to bring that reality that much closer to you. You're going to start to exist within the realm of you already being there. And then the last piece of this is that I want you to write down, I wrote out this phrase, and you can change it, customize it if you want to. But I wrote out this phrase where I want you to say, thank you, universe, or dear universe, thank you for bringing me X amount of dollars. I'm open to receiving it in the best, fastest, and easiest way that you can deliver it to me. Thank you for this amazing gift. And I'm putting that in the chat too. And again, you can customize this however you want, but it's just you kind of delivering a little love note to the universe, letting the universe know you're open to receiving it however it wants to bring it to you. There's no more hows, no more limitations, and no more restrictions. And again, remember, you can do this with anything you want to manifest. It doesn't just have to be money. And then when you're done, if anybody wants to unmute or share any thoughts, any questions, what that was like. Or even if you want to share your financial goal too.
I just a question, but it has nothing to do with these particular questions. But I thought
Totally
of it
fine.
earlier when you're talking about manifesting versus keeping it.
Uh-huh.
And this is something I've been like aware of, and I'm trying to just like get out of, if it's a mind, I don't know what it is, if it's an energy thing, mindset, just bad luck, but just I feel like it's happened often enough where I'll come
Mhm.
into like, I'll get excited because I'll get like a windfall or whatever. When I was in real estate, I made my first sale. And as
Mhm.
soon as I come into this money that was like more than what I expected or special, and all of a sudden like the AC in my car breaks and it's
Mhm.
$1,000 to fix. So it's like, thank God I just got that, or I couldn't have afforded it. But I'm like, I wanted to use that money to
Or
save
something else.
for something. So what is that? I feel like, not that it always happens, but there's been many points in my life where when we've gotten that extra little bit that we're looking forward to, then it's like, oh no, wait, something
Mm.
comes in and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, it goes away. And so, but you said it doesn't happen all the time.
No, but there have been it's happened quite a bit,
Like
although I
several
feel like
times.
it's gotten better, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. And I
Yeah.
mean,
So what happens is we all have like if you've heard or read the book called The Big Leap, he talks about it as like hitting your upper limit, which is like, remember kind of in the last training how I was talking about those different, like the different circles, right? Where you're like in this one and then you're trying to expand into the next one, the next one, the next one. So what happens is when you hit kind of the wall of the realm that you're currently in, um, it's almost like we attract these things that shrink us back in, right? So let's say, for example, if the world you're the realm you're in right now is like the biggest I can go is, let's say, 10K. So then if you hit 12, then that money comes in, but you're like, wait, within this realm, I can't have that much money. That's too much. It's like on a subconscious level, that's more. So then we attract these things that it's like, oh, okay, well, here, I'll take care of that for you. So let me just come in and like just take that money. It just disappears, right? Where you're like, wait, why does the money come in and then it goes away? So it's because you kind of hit the limitation around the capacity to receive. So that's where you want to kind of ask yourself, like, where is there that limitation? And like, why have I decided that I can't have that much? And two, what are my beliefs around my ability to have things and to keep things and to grow things? Because what happens is then there's almost like it's like you're trying to put air into a tire that's still flat, or like there's still a hole in it, right? So it's like no matter how much you fill the tire, if there's still a hole where it's like the air is leaking out, it doesn't matter how much you fill it until you fix the hole or you get a new tire. So there's something around like your masculine container that you want to heal and work through, like the ability to hold things, the ability to have things. Because once you fix that, then that's when you'll be able to not just manifest and receive and attract, you'll be able to actually keep it, hold it, and then the next step would be grow it. So it's something around your masculine container. So what I would say is like dig into a little bit more around like if you're not seeing anything, for example, specifically tied to your dad of like the ability to have, kind of dig into like, are there any stories? But I would even kind of send up like a little prayer to the universe and just say like, hey, um, you know, can you show me like what's going on here? Like, where does this come from? We could always do it in a session too, but you can even just ask the universe, like, because maybe it'll bring back a memory or something might come up because it could be a lot of different things. So it's hard for me to like say, but it could be
Right.
something with your dad. It could be something from a past life. We also kind of make these like soul contract agreements when we come into this world where um some of us carry like poverty agreements that we've made and just things that you can like work through with your counsel and just kind of say like, hey, I want to rewrite this part of my agreement, right? Because if you had some sort of trauma in a past life, let's say in your Akashic records it's written like, oh, when I got rich, like tragedy struck. So when I came into this life, I decided I don't want to be rich because then tragedy's gonna, so it could be things like that. So there could be a lot of things, but that's specifically like a masculine, like a container issue. So just kind of like ask the universe, like, can you reveal to me what's going on here? And just kind of notice like any signs, any dreams, any messages that the universe gives you around it, because there is something there that's like making it hard for you to hold and to grow the money that comes in. Yeah. That way, because you're like, yes, you want to keep manifesting, right? But you also want to make sure it's sticking. And there's a reason why there's something in your energy that it's like it comes in, but then it's your energy is like pushing it back out. So it's like I attracted them in my feminine, but then when I go into my masculine to hold it, it's like the energy pushes it back out. So there's something around the energy to like hold it. Yeah. But let me know. I'll kind of sit with it too. But ask the universe, like, show me what's here. And I feel like your guides will kind of like they'll signal you to something. So you at least have some awareness around like what could be creating it. Yeah. Any other thoughts or questions?
I also have a question not related to these sets of
Totally
questions.
fine.
But when you said like the containers, like when we focus on the what and not the how,
Mhm.
um, so this is not money related, but how do we, like, for example, if I'm trying to manifest a man,
Mm.
how do I, how do I manifest? Like, I'm just, I don't have a how, but I also don't know how.
You're like,
Is
how do
that,
I do this?
yeah. I mean,
um,
I don't know if that makes sense, but like,
yeah.
because I wrote down like the straw mentality of it only coming from well, here it's like the monthly goal of like of it coming through business, but like I don't have an idea of where a man would come from, like falling from the sky, you know.
Yeah. So,
So
okay, love this
how do you focus
question.
how do you focus
Yeah.
that, you know. You know what I'm trying to say.
Totally. And I love this because it will apply to everything, money, love, whatever it is, right? Because this is where we find that balance of like, okay, don't attach to the how. If anything, detach from the how, right? Get rid of the how. But there has to be an openness, right? In as far as like, okay, like I'll use both examples. I want to manifest $10,000. I don't care how, but I also need to be open to the
Mm,
how the universe wants to bring it, right? So, kind of going back to that example of if I ask you for a cake, okay, now if I'm detaching, I don't care what kind of box you give it to me in, but I'm open to the type of box. Because it's one thing for me to be like, okay, I don't care what kind of box it comes in, but then I could still on a subconscious level be holding on to like, but I really hope it's a pink fox, or like, I really hope it, you know
Oh,
what I mean? And instead it's like, I'm open. She can give me one with polka dots, with flowers, with butterflies, however it wants to come, whatever that packaging is, I am still going to get to receive my thing.
mm,
So, for example, like if I was to tell Christina, like, okay, you're gonna make your goal, right? You're gonna make your $10,000 a month, but some of it is gonna come from your husband, right? Like I would kind of have to sit with her and see like, how does that feel for you? Right? Like for
yes,
example,
girl.
and and that's where we would kind of have to see, and maybe she would be like, nope, I wanted to only come from my business, right? Then I'd be like, okay, so subconsciously you're still attached to the how. You're not actually open to the how, right? So, and I've seen this. I had a client where she was like, oh, well, we need to, do that. Like, I need to manifest this. And I'm like, be open. Like, are you really open, right? To how it comes in? Can it be like you meet him on a dating app and you're willing to put yourself out there? You meet him on, I know, and see, but that's the thing, is that's where you start to see, where are my limitations, right? Because I have a lot of girlfriends that are in that boat where they're like, oh, I want to go on dates, I want to meet a guy, but they're not leaving their house, you
That's
know?
me.
That was me, so I get it. And I'm like, okay, well, he's not gonna come knocking on your door, like you gotta put
You
yourself out
never
there. You
know.
if that worked, a lot of us would be taken by now, because I think a lot
That's
of
how my grandmother met my grandfather.
no way. Did he literally knock on her door?
Yeah, he was in the Navy, and I don't remember what he was doing, but he like knocked on her door for
Oh my
whatever reason.
gosh, I love that. Okay, well, maybe.
I'm always
It
like,
can happen.
what if he's a
This is
client,
in
like getting a
Cuba,
cake for
but
his sister or something?
It could be. I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but I think where we block ourselves is when again, that's the limitation, right? It has to be through this. It can only be from this, not from that, right? So
Mm,
I'll give you an example. Like I used to say, I'm not meeting my person on a dating app. I'm
that's
just
me.
not. But there I was on the app, and I
Mm,
used to say that. And then I was like, okay, if you really want to manifest this, like maybe you need, like, does it matter? Like, doesn't, if your guy wants to come through a dating app, are you going to be like, nope, you came through a dating app, so no, right? Am I really, if Christina's dream home comes through, I don't know, her husband or whoever, like, are we going to say no if the thing comes again? Am I going to reject your cake because let's say you give it to me in a purple box and I'm like, oh my God, I hate the color purple. Like, does it matter if I'm still
mm,
receiving the cake?
mm.
Right. So that's where we block ourselves, because we're like, I don't want it. I want it, but not like that. I want it, but not through that method. And the universe is like, that's how I can give it to you.
Yeah.
It's almost like the universe, I think sometimes on purpose, is like, but that's how I'm gonna give it to you. So like when you decide to open up, then it can come in.
Yeah.
Right. So the
Um,
work there is asking yourself, like, why have I decided it can't be this way?
mm. Yeah, my cousin found her now husband through a dating app, and I'm like, I want that, but not in a dating app.
Yeah, but here's the thing, because I'm not saying like get on a dating app and that's how you're gonna meet them. Because what it is, for example, like the way I use that is I say, okay, I never go anywhere. And when I do go places, everyone's already like coupled up. I hardly meet new people. So I was like, okay, if I want to go on dates, if I want to show the universe, I'm ready. Like, I'm serious. I want to meet my person. Okay, I know how to get dates. If I go on a dating app, I will get dates and I will get to go on dates. That's me showing the universe, like, I want this and I'm open. Maybe I'll meet him at a coffee shop. I might not even meet him on the apps. I might meet him on the apps, but
Mm,
that's full detachment, because now I'm like, Okay, however you want to do it, but I'm actively showing you that I want this, right? In the same way that like if you're trying to hit a certain financial number, actively show up in your business, right? You don't say I want to make 10K and I'm just going to stay in bed all day long. Like, no, you detach, but you also actively show up for what you want to manifest.
Mm, okay.
So make yourself an active participant in receiving the manifestation. So instead of attaching to the how, detach from the how, and instead my role is how can I actively participate in receiving what the universe wants to give me?
Mm,
Am I available? Am I open? Am I showing up for it? That would be like if I, requested a cake, but like you can't have my contact info, you don't know how to get a hold of me, and then you're like struggling to figure out like, how do I deliver this to you? Make it easy for the universe to give you what you want. So like if, with Christina, like she's looking for her home. Okay, start looking. Just start looking. Look on Zillow, on this, on that, even if you're like, oh, it's probably not gonna be through Zillow because everything there is always outdated and people are always buying houses so fast. It doesn't matter. Just look, because that's you showing the universe, I'm ready to receive the house you want to give me. Even if it comes through Zillow or it doesn't come through Zillow or people say it's impossible or whatever, I'm just gonna look because I'm showing the universe I'm an active participant in receiving the manifestation you want to bring me, that I'm asking for. Yeah. So write down like man in your circle and then ask yourself. So your exercise is going to be like, ask yourself, how am I saying, no, I will not receive this? And those are the things you need to erase. I will not receive him in this way. Because those are your blocks right now. Yeah. But you never know. Never know where he'll come from. I love this. Any other questions or thoughts? Anything you guys want to share with each other? Okay, no.
I don't know
Oh,
where
wait.
you're looking. Sorry, one
No,
thing
go
for
ahead.
Christina. I don't know where you're looking for your house, but I found my house on Redfin. So,
Okay.
and I never thought I was gonna find it on Redfin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm having fun looking and just
Okay.
seeing.
Yeah. You're an active participant in your manifestation.
Mhm.
I love that. Oof. Awesome. Okay, I know we're past time. Natalie, do you still want to talk about your event? Get Christina's input on it.
I can put it through Slack if you have to go, Christina,
Okay.
and then get your feedback through there.
Yeah. Let me know and then we can. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Sounds
And if
good.
it helps, and I don't know with Natalia, when I met my husband, I was at a point where I was tired of dating and I had just been
Yeah.
like dating this guy who was really not into me. I met him on
Mhm.
vacation on a cruise. And I remember I went on this cruise with a
Oh.
book and I was like, I had just surrendered. I was like, I'm done. I don't care. And the farthest thing from my mind was meeting someone and then he showed up.
Mm,
So I know that helps with all things in life when you finally like lose that like desperate attachment that you need and you're always looking and
Yes.
searching. Because I would everywhere I would go, I was like, ooh, who? And when I finally was just like, I'm not even gonna worry about it, is when
You showed up.
and it's easier said than done, I think.
yeah.
Because when you want something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
I don't know.
I love that. We just got to it goes back to the detachment.
Mhm.
That's so huge. Like you said, easier said than done, but you can always
Yeah,
keep
I
coming back
know.
to it. Yeah. But that's why we're here together, supporting each other. So it's all good. All right. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me. I hope this was helpful. And yeah, let me know how it goes if anything comes up for you guys. And I'm here to support you too.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.